Hello there, and welcome to the weekly Outside Views report on the politics of the European Union. The European Commission is addressing the alarming decline in wild bees and other pollinators in Europe. In a new EU initiative, it defines goals for 2030 and concrete measures. Along with the new pollinators deal, the Commission also unveiled the revised 2018 EU Pollinators Initiative. Citizens are increasingly demanding decisive action against the loss of pollinators, including with the European Citizens' Initiative Save Bees and Farmers. With 1 in 3 bee, butterfly, and hoverfly species currently disappearing in the EU, the renewed initiative sets out action for the EU and member states to reverse the decline in pollinators by 2030. It complements the Commission's June 2022 proposal for a Nature Restoration Act and is a key part of the 2030 biodiversity strategy, the Farm to Fork strategy, and the European Green Deal. The revised EU Pollinators Initiative sets targets for 2030 and actions grouped into 3 priorities. The main priority is to improve the conservation of pollinators and address the cause of their decline. The Commission invites the European Parliament and the Council to endorse the new measures and to actively participate in its implementation in close cooperation with all relevant stakeholders. The new measures will complement forthcoming national recovery plans under the proposed Nature Restoration Act, in which member states will decide on the measures to be taken to meet the legally binding target of reversing the decline in pollinator populations by 2030. The Commission will respond to the citizen initiative Save Bees and Farmers with a communication to this effect later this year. Despite the current EU rules on late payments, over 60% of EU businesses are still not paid on time. Small and medium-sized enterprises, so-called SMEs, are most affected. The EU Commission is therefore planning to revise the existing rules and has launched a public consultation on this. Companies, associations, universities, and public bodies are invited to submit their opinions by March 17th. The initiative will help SMEs by overhauling the existing EU payment rules based on available and forthcoming evidence to encourage a definitive shift towards an instant payment culture. The consultation gives stakeholders an opportunity to share their views on how the initiative is helping to improve payment performance and create a fairer payment culture in the business environment. The planned revision will take a more holistic approach based on 3 pillars: enshrining instant payment behavior in law, promoting the use of modern digital payment tools, and strengthening the prevention and enforcement of these regulations across all industrial ecosystems. The input from the consultation will feed into the upcoming revision of the Late Payments Directive, which will be part of the SME relief package announced by President von der Leyen in her 2022 State of the Union address. The Commission plans to present the proposal to revise the Late Payments Directive by summer 2023. How can the European electricity market be made more resilient? How to reduce the impact of gas prices on electricity bills while supporting the energy transition? The EU Commission has launched a public consultation on these and other questions relating to the future structure of the EU electricity market. Interested parties can participate until February 13th. In her most recent State of the Union speech, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced a comprehensive reform of the electricity market to better protect consumers from excessive price fluctuations and to promote access to safe energy from clean sources. This planned reform focuses on aspects that urgently need to be adjusted. The goal is to make the market more resilient and reduce the impact of gas prices on electricity bills while supporting the energy transition. The aim of this reform is to quickly bring added value to EU citizens and businesses in the current crisis and in the 23-24 heating period. It includes changes to the Electricity Ordinance, the Electricity Directive, and the so-called REMIT Ordinance. The public consultation will support the Commission's work on the legislative proposal, which is due to be presented in the first quarter of this year. The EU Commission wants to increase the number of repatriations of people without a right to stay in the EU. To this end, it has presented a new operational strategy for more effective returns. It includes joint return campaigns to certain third countries, support for return counseling and reintegration, and digitization of return management. EU Interior Commissioner Ylva Johansson and EU Return Coordinator Mari Juric explained the new strategy at a press conference. The strategy for more effective returns will also feed into discussions at the Informal Justice and Home Affairs Council later this week. The Returns Coordinator and the high-level network on returns will finalize the operational strategy and ensure its implementation. An effective and common EU return system is a key pillar of well-functioning and credible migration and asylum systems, and of the comprehensive approach of the new migration and asylum package. In order to increase the uptake of these measures by those who have to leave the EU, the Commission adopted in 2021 a new strategy on voluntary return and reintegration. The strategy promotes voluntary return and reintegration as an integral part of an EU common return system, which is a key objective of the new migration and asylum package. The strategy sets out practical measures to improve the legal and operational framework for voluntary returns from Europe and transit countries, improve the quality of return and reintegration programs, link migration and development policies more closely, and strengthen cooperation with partner countries. The first EU Space and Defence Strategy and EU Space Law, Investments in Innovation and Space-Based Secured Connectivity was the topic. The High Representative and Vice President of the European Union, Josep Borrell, and EU Internal Market Commissioner Thierry Breton presented the priorities of the European space policy for the year 2023 at the 15th European Space Conference. In his speech, Internal Market Commissioner Thierry Breton presented the 4 pillars for European space activities this year. First, it's IRIS², the new EU program for space-based security connectivity. Secondly, flexibility, agility, and real innovation in investments and procurement in the space sector. And third, the first EU space and defense strategy. And fourth, an EU space law that aims to introduce common rules for the safety and sustainability of our space operations. The new space strategy aims to improve the European Union's strategic position to defend its interests, protect its space systems and services, and become a more confident space power. In order for methods such as computer tomography or nuclear spin automography in cancer to enable an even more precise and faster early detection, the EU Commission has given the starting signal for the European initiative to provide imaging procedures in cancer medicine. The aim is to enable patients to be diagnosed with data-supported solutions faster and better. The initiative will create a digital infrastructure that combines resources and databases for image data from cancer medicine throughout the EU. After the start of the European Initiative on Imaging Procedures in Cancer Medicine with 2 projects, that's the EU CAME project and the AI test and testing facility for health, and the design of the pan-European digital infrastructure should be completed by December 23 and should be set up as a cooperation mechanism. The data providers will then be able to connect this new European federated platform. The first version of the platform will be activated at the end of 2024, and the final version is expected to be ready until the end of 2025. The digital infrastructure will be fully functional in 2026 and start operating. The Commission has published a list of high-quality data records which must be made available free of charge by public bodies within 16 months. Certain data from the public sector, such as meteorological data or data on air quality, are particularly interesting for the creators of value-added services and applications and have great benefits for society, also for environment and the economy. Therefore, they should be made accessible to the public. The regulation, which was introduced as part of the Directive on Open Data, defines 6 categories of high-quality data records: geodata, storing and environment, meteorological data, statistics, companies, and mobility. This thematic spectrum can be expanded at a later date in order to take into account technological and also market developments. The better availability of data will promote the entrepreneurial spirit and lead to the establishment of new companies. Also, high-quality data records can be important resources for SMEs to develop new digital products and services. The further use of data records, such as mobility or geolocalization of buildings, can be open business opportunities for the logistics or transport sector and improve the efficiency of providing public services, for example, by understanding traffic flows to make traffic more efficient. Meteorological observation data, radar data, data on air quality and soil pollution can also support research and digital innovation, as well as political decision-making, especially in the fight against climate change. And this concludes this week's video on the politics of the European Union. I'll see you in my next video tomorrow. I'll be back.